Hey everybody, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. And last week on the channel, I did 5 90s underrated pop songs. And really, it was not even underrated. It was more like stuff that was forgotten.
Sure.
And at one time was highly rated. And then just all of a sudden, no one talks about anymore. Lauren is going to take us back a decade and talk about songs from the 80s that she feels are great pop songs that are underrated. I feel like, before we go into this, I feel like yours... some of these were big hits at the time, so they're kind of similar to some of my picks, but I also feel like some of these are ones that should have been bigger hits than they were too. So your list is a little different than mine, but at the same time, in that last video, I said, like make sure to go listen to these songs. So even if by name you go, oh yeah, I remember that song, like treat yourself to go listening to it.
Yep.
Again. The first one that's on your list, I can't say enough good about this group. And I'm happy that they were a big deal when I was young, but I feel like you are just now starting to appreciate them.
Yeah, truth. So the song is the song that is currently stuck in my head and has been for the last several days and is the catalyst for this list in the first place. You Got It All by the Jets. So this song was not really like on my own personal radar until we listened to, old Casey Kasem countdowns and this, I've heard this on the Casey Kasem charts several times and I was like, man, that's a good song. That's a really good song.
And you thought to yourself, wow, what a great vocal from that 20-year-old woman.
And it's, wow, what a great vocal from that 13-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, goodness gracious gosh.
Yeah. Well, hey, watch your language. We discussed this the other day. I feel strongly that we are in a culture now where every artist that comes out feels the need to be like, I am original. And first of all, no, you're not. And second of all, I wish more people would take from other artists around them. And I feel like this is a young lady who grew up on people like Michael Jackson, Irene Cara, Stephanie Mills, like people who sang from the heart. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you, in my opinion, like one of the most famous young Michael Jackson things is when he put the spin on Who's Loving You, and he sings it like a 60-year-old man who's been through heartbreak, and he's like 7 or whatever. It was like 7 or 11, something like that when he was a kid. And I feel like this young lady is singing this song as if she's at least 30.
Yeah, it's amazing. I truthfully, I was completely shocked when I was like, that's a child singing this.
Yeah.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Check this song out.
The next one you have on the list is funny for me because when we had discussed this the other day, completely on a different topic, but for me, this artist, I didn't know anything about her before she was connected with Prince later in the 80s.
Okay.
And then now when I go back and listen to the earlier poppier stuff, I like it as much as what she did.
It's so
with Prince.
Different though,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally different. So I'm talking about 9 to 5, not that one.
Right.
9 to 5 Morning Train by Sheena Easton. And this is the song where when you say the name Sheena Easton, this is the first song that pops into my brain.
Which I didn't even know the song until like a year ago.
I get such a kick out
It's
of
a
this
great
song.
song.
I love this song so much. I love that it has to have Morning Train in
Well, yeah.
parentheses
So what's funny
because
is
of
I always throw up the cover here, and I don't know which one I'll throw up. But the other day when I found it, there were all different versions of it. There was ones that said 9 to 5, and then Morning Train, and there was ones that said Morning Train and then 9 to 5, which obviously they were like, it seems we have a branding issue.
we have a problem here
Yeah.
because you're Scottish, Sheena Easton,
You're
and
right.
this song hit over there, and Dolly Parton had 9 to 5 over here, and they're not the same song. But yeah, this song is just great. It's pure early 80s pop at its finest.
The next one that's on your list, I'm going to just spoil the artist at first by telling a story from our personal lives that cracked me up the other day. Was we have now reached the old enough age to where when you try and explain stuff to people that are younger than you, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, for something that was commonplace to us.
I don't like it.
And so she's going to speak about Tracy Ullman. And we were talking to my 18-year-old son. You've seen him on the channel here. And we were like, oh yeah, this song is by Tracy Ullman. And he was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, no, like Tracy Ullman. Like you're not thinking of her as a singer. like Tracy Ullman, and he was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, no, from the Tracy Ullman show, she was huge in the 90s. She also had shows on HBO. The Simpsons got her started, and he was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go be old.
Yeah.
You wait here. I'm gonna go be old. But having said that, if you rewind about 25 years, you could say to people, hey, I know you're familiar with Tracy Ullman, current young people. And no one at the time would have remembered this great song.
It's so great. Again, talk about just pure, beautiful 80s pop. And also, I'm a sucker for any song that has those ding dong carol. Just hit me with it. And her vocal on this is so solid, so pretty, and so something I want to sing at karaoke but couldn't. That one high bit I just can't do. And like, she's so good at this.
Pardon my use of UK slang, but bullocks. Yeah, but I love that song. And if you don't know it, if you don't know who Tracy Ullman is, first of all, you should.
Well, they don't know.
Yeah, good one. They should get an education on who Tracy Ullman is. Second of all, after you learn all about her incredible comedic skills and everything she's given us comedy-wise, then go check out the song and realize it's the same woman. Yeah. It's fantastic. Now, the next artist is a person who I think everyone on planet Earth who knows of this artist, when you say their name, they say, oh, Playing with the Queen of Hearts. This next song that you're going to mention is, I think, every bit as good as that.
Yep.
I think, if anything, maybe it sounded too much like her bigger hit.
That's fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sure. Juice Newton. Love's been a little bit hard on me.
Jam.
So catchy. Such a jam. And talking again about us listening to the old Casey Kasem countdowns, he relayed a story about Juice Newton and people being like, why do they call you Juice? And she was like, it's just my nickname. It's not that weird.
Yeah.
And she's just like, nope.
Well, we've talked about this on the channel a lot.
I love it.
You have to remember that women had to do a lot more explaining around those times than anybody else did. There could have been a guy named Juice, and people would have been like, neat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was OJ, but like, and people called him Juice. And then people are just like, well.
We have enough
speaking
juice.
of which, the Juice does not, or the J does not stand for, it stands for James, not Juice, just so anybody.
Yeah.
If anybody's like, well, his name's OJ. Nope. Like, but.
Such a fun song.
Let me say this. If you are watching this video and you're like, yeah, Queen of Hearts, look this one up, because if anything, you might listen to it and go, yeah, well, this is similar. Yes, it is similar, but I like it as much or more
Yeah.
than her biggest hit. The last one that you were going to talk about, for me, what's interesting about this one is that I would argue that off of this album, and I'm not going to spoil it until you get into it, but I would argue people know two singles for sure. And then there's a third single that I always remember. It is my favorite song off the album that I don't think many people remember. And then no one remembers this single that you're going to talk about.
Yeah, so we heard it the other day, and you basically said, you were like, man, this is a solid song, but nobody remembers it. I'm talking about the song Nothing at All by Heart. And there's this song, again,
I would argue I think it's less poppy than the other three singles.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I feel like this song basically just the only thing that hurts it is the fact that it's
The fourth single.
Yeah.
And that happened again on Bad Animals too, where Alone was such a monster single that anything that came after it was like, nope.
Yeah.
So from the Heart self-titled record, where if you just look at the cover, you're like, oh, so okay, you guys will be doing hair metal and whatnot now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
You just look at the cover. But I would argue What About Love and These Dreams are the biggest singles off of that. But the one I always talk to people about, Never. I love that song.
Oh, you do.
And people forget that song. I think that, to me, that might be the first Heart song I ever heard, was Never. And then I was like, I just love that song so much. I love everything about the production. I'm a sucker for 80s production where when somebody hits a snare, it sounds like a cannon went off. I'm like, yeah. But I would argue, I think Nothing at All, besides, being the fourth single, you already had 2.5 massive singles off of this record.
This song, I think it charted
Yeah.
fairly well,
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like it's less poppy.
Oh, yeah. It is less poppy.
It's more straightforward. And maybe that fans at the time could have been like, but more of the pop, please.
No.
Yeah. So this has been a little stroll down underrated memory lane for us in 1980. If if you are like my son and you're like, I don't know who any of those people are that you just talked about, by all means, please take a listen to those songs. Look them up. Yeah, even if you just look up one, just look up the Jets ballad and let us know what you think of it. I am certain if you're watching this video and you know any of these artists that you have a ton of songs from the 80s that you're like, oh yeah, I think this one's underrated or that. And that's all we're here for, is all that stuff in the comments. So please, please, please drop a comment. Let us know what you think of our picks. What some underrated 80s songs are from yours. And then also stick around for the weekends because we have great videos on the weekend. And then every Thursday we have these new topic videos. Once again, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.